Welcome to this short tutorial which will look at the installation of Power BI Desktop. This is very important as you will want to follow through what I'll be doing. So you need to have Power BI Desktop on your computer. So let's do a bit of house check on my PC to look if Power BI Desktop has already been installed. So I'll go to the search at the status bar on a Windows 11, type Power BI. If Power BI is installed, we should see Power BI here, or we should see the icon here also. Click the app, should be listed there if it's installed on the computer. So let's do another check by going to Control Panel and go to Programs and Features, and check to see if Power BI is installed, meaning that it should be listed here. It's not installed, so let's click out of it, and now let's do the installation of Power BI Desktop since it's now installed on my computer. So we can install Power BI from Microsoft Store as an app, or we can install it from .exe file, which is executable file from a directory. So let's look at the first one, which is the installation from Microsoft Store. So we talked about checking to ensure that you don't already have it, and we do not have it. So now we can go to the search area of Windows 11, which is here, what we talked about just now, and then we can type Microsoft Store, and the Microsoft Store app should pop up, and then we have it open. Then we type Power BI, then we click on the Power BI Desktop. So because Power BI Desktop is not installed as we checked, so we should see here install. If Power BI Desktop has been installed, then we'll see open because it's already there, so we have to open. So of course these are reports here just showing you what you can achieve with Power BI Desktop. So that is not relevant, it's just an advert from Microsoft. So if we click the installation or the install button, then it should start download, and after downloading you'll see in a brief moment where it will say installing Power BI. So it's very fast. That tells you it all depends upon your bandwidth. If you have it faster than this, then it will be even more so faster than what you're seeing right now. So it's installing, and that is it. The installation is finished. Click open, and here we go. We already have Power BI Desktop installed on our computer, and we'll be greeted with the getting started with Power BI Desktop page. So we talked about that earlier on the first video. So if we uncheck this, we can not see this particular thing the next time Power BI starts. So let's just try that and close out of it, go back here. Let's see Power BI, and you see when we start Power BI Desktop, we do not see the getting started message again. We can do updates now, which will go and do some installation. Of course it failed. It says installation failed. The Microsoft Edge Web 2 runtime is already installed for the system, so we don't need to do anything. Of course we just install it, so that is expected. So let's click out of this, and let's do an uninstallation of the installation we've just done, because we want to do it to the .exe file or the executable file. So in order to manually uninstall it, so let's go back to search. Of course, if you don't see it, you can type here Power BI, you right click, and then you go to uninstall, and then you say uninstall. So that will be fast. Let's also go there. Of course the uninstall is not there anymore because it's already uninstalled. So we can say click for remove from device history, this device is the computer, the history is what we have here that I've opened this. So if we remove it, it will not show here. So this might be a little bit confusing. It doesn't mean that when you see this icon Power BI desktop is installed. It just means we opened it earlier, and of course when we just install it, it was open. So let's take it from the history, and then let's go to control panel and programs and features, and then let's check Power BI desktop is not installed. So we have uninstalled it in order to prepare us for the second type of installation, which is 2d.exe or the executable file from a directory. So in order to do that, we have to download Power BI desktop executable file. We can have that file by going through let me go to my slide again, by going through this first one, and then we have the file. I will click download. I already have that download on my computer, and so you'll see on the download we have the file here. So once we have the file there, we're ready to do the second method of installation, which also can be divided into two. We can do it manually or we can use PowerShell. So let's manually do that by going to this, and then we double click, and then the installation or the setup page will come up, and then you click next, and then you accept. It says, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your computer? Of course you'll have to download files, so that's the change that will happen, so you have to agree to it in order to install it. So once that is done, it starts the installation preparation, and then now it says next. You have to accept the license agreement, which is the EULA agreement, and you can read through what it has here, but you have to accept. Click next. You can change the directory where you want to put Power BI by clicking change directory, but we are okay with what we have there, so let's click next, and then now we can click the installation, and the installation will start. So it's preparing, it says wait, it's updating, generating scripts, copying new files, and uploading components, registration. It will do a lot of steps. Remember, the installation is coming from a file, so it has to extract all those files from the download files that we have there, and copy it into your system, and then do the installation. So it's a pretty much fast installation. It takes about 15 to 30 seconds based upon your internet speed. So if you have at least average internet like what I have, I think it should take between 15 seconds to 30 seconds to do the installation. If your internet is bad, then you expect it to take a little longer, but it's not something that should last for quite a long time. So let's give it a little bit of time to see through the process of doing the installation. So it's done, and then we click finish. And it will open Power BI. Of course, we're going to be greeted with the getting started. I'll click out of this, and then we go back and do uninstall. Click it out. Of course, it brought us to this, do uninstall. We click yes, agree to it, we click remove. It's done, so it's off. go back to this. Power BI is not there. So let's look at the second option, which is PowerShell. So for that reason, let's go and open PowerShell as administrator. Click yes, and then we change directory to download, but I like to do it the long way. That is users issue and downloads. So once we are in download, remember that the file that we want to install is here on the download, and that's the file. So if we want to do the installation, let's copy the command from the slide. Go to PowerShell. Let's clear. So that's wrong. Let me copy it again. Or we can manually do it. That's PBI DXK TOP SET UP x64.exe -QUIET quiet. We want to accept the EULA by saying equals to 1. So we have a problem there because something is missing from this code, which is this, and now it's doing the quiet installation. You will not see much. It's nice that we see that mistake there wherein we do not have the dots, so that you know that you have to put it there. When I look at the documentation from Microsoft, I do not see it, so I was like default in putting this, but for some reason it will tell you that that's a problem and it's expecting that dot, so it's giving you that from here. So that will, if you pay attention to some of the suggestions, then that will help you to go through it. It says if you put it this way, then I'll take it, so just do it. So now let's take control panel by going out of it and go back in. Of course, we see in Power BI this is just recent, so we can remove it from there. That's not much important, but also control panel, programs and features, and it's been installed again. So we have Power BI desktop again. So let's go through the Power BI documentation, which I have open here. It says if you're using the command line, which is PowerShell, which is also a command line tool, we can use the -Q or quiet or S for silent install. We can use -passive to show just the progress during installation. We can use -no restart to suppress the restart after installation, or to force that, or to have a prompt for a restart, or to log the installation. So I want to do a couple of them. If you notice, we do not have, well, we do have it, so let's take it off from here by, so there is no uninstall, so I can just delete it from the desktop. And let's go back to control panel and see if we have it there. We have it there. So we can uninstall and say yes and say remove. It will uninstall it. So we're gonna do the installation again from the command line, which to me is very flexible. It's easy to do. You just have to get the spelling guides, and it will give you a malleable or different ways to do the same thing. So if you go back to PowerShell, let's go as administrator, right click as admin, and then just cd to C users sure, and then downloads. So remember, this is the command that we used just now. Of course, this is the part that tells you the .exe file that you're gonna install. Of course, it's the Power BI desktop setup, and the file is located in this download folder, which is under ASU and under the user or users. And the -quiet is telling the command to install quietly. You will need that if you have other programs, other things going on your desktop, and you just want to quietly install it. This you have to accept it, otherwise the installation will not complete. You have to accept the license even if you're doing it to command line. So remember, just now we have various other commands. So we want to install it and get the the EULA is there, which we have done. We have to set it to 1, and let's do 1 or 2 more things. I would like to log the information, so let's see -log, and let me give it a location where I want the log to go. I want the log to go to desktop, so I'll click this and right click here. It has to be in quotes. And let's choose another one. Let's say no restarts. Dash no restart, START, no restart. Then what else? Well, for now it's something that you can do a lot, so let's just use this for now. You can play with it on your own, and let's just click. So it's going to do the installation quietly, and it's going to log it to a file. If it doesn't work, I'm seeing that we have to add the file, its name here, that we don't do. So let's give it some time. But whilst that is being done, we can add a installation .log. Can say pb installation.log. So let me see control panel, click out of it, go back to it, programs and features. No, it's not Power BI there. Let me see why. It will take a little bit of time though, so let's give it some time. You can hear the processor working. Let's go back to control panel. So let's look at the spellings. Let's abort this. Check everything if it's quite okay. I don't tend to see any problem here. So let's look at the files here. The time will tell 13, that's 12:13, that's 2:49, this is 2:50, so I'll assume that these are the files. And it says Power BI installation.log here. So this gives you what's going on. So now if we go to control panel again, I believe and I'm sure now we should see Power BI. Yeah, it takes its time to go through it, but the code was okay except the first one, which doesn't have the log. Of course, this is just showing you the directory and not the file, so that's why this one doesn't work and it has to be like this. Okay.